And we're back. Hey.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, everybody.
All right. That was a little delay. I don't know what happened.
Here's a little rusty. Are you there?
There you go. Yes, I am. Okay. You know what? You know what happened? I had my YouTube going on one side, right?
Yeah.
I could hear myself. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? So I'm sorry. Okay, we are rusty, definitely. It's been a while.
Absolutely.
It's been what? 7 months since our last show with last year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot has changed. A lot of things have happened in those 7 months.
Exactly. And but we have a new show, a new format, right? A new time. This is Beyond the Breach. And here we talk about technology, we talk about Windows, we talk about Mac, we talk about Linux, we talk about news, we talk about everything that has to do with cybersecurity. And I'm here with my best friend, my colleague, my business partner, the Rock of Rhino.
There we go.
Andrew Somerton. Hey, Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you today? This is exciting. I'm happy to be back. You know what? It's a new time, new us. Like I said, so much has happened and so many things have changed over the last 7 months. We had a whirlwind time, and all good, all positive. But we've learned a lot in those 7 months as well, and we've grown, and we have lots to share with our audience and everybody here. So thanks so much. And I see all kinds of well wishes as well, which is amazing. I love to see all the people who've joined us already.
Happy morning. Happy Friday, everybody. This is a morning show now.
Cheers.
So we're super full of energy. Let's have our coffees and let's go through some of the stuff. Andrew.
Yeah.
Lead us on to what we're going to talk about today and why we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. So, you know, we're really excited. we're really excited to share with you, you know, obviously what's been happening in the world and what's going on. And you know what? Statistics are critical, and I'll go over those statistics with you in a little bit, and we'll talk about it in detail. But it's just about, you know, companies and being hacked and what are they doing and how they're being reactive and proactive and you know what they should be looking at and what people are just taking for granted. And this show really is about an eye opener and really talking about things that are going on. So, I mean, do you want me to share some of those statistics with you right now, Dan?
Yeah, I'm putting the Word document on the screen for everybody to see.
Beautiful. So statistics. I mean, I'll read this, guys, just so everybody knows. I mean, if this is a great way maybe to launch the show because it sheds some light on the incredible numbers that are happening out there. And they, you know, this is 2023, so this is all new statistics. So more than 22 billion corporate records were hacked in 2022. So 22 billion corporate records. So just imagine, you know, what it was entailed in that, what was lost, how much people and how many information is out there in the dark web. And then ransom attacks. So, you know, critical. A ransom attack, everybody out there knows, or if you don't, ransom attacks are a very, very scary thing to happen to a company, and they're happening every 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
that is crazy.
Put that in perspective, right? I mean, every 2 seconds, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
Andrew. But you know what? We have like a lot of. I mean, we're in cybersecurity. That's what we do. We have a lot of clients, and a lot of people come to us, prospects, after they being hacked, and we're talking about everything like ransomware, data leaks, all kinds of stuff. People that have been hacked come to us, and they're not very happy. It's just a mess, and then we have to clean up the mess, of course, and even deal with the hackers through our partners in terms of the ransom payments and all of that. And it is so bad, right? So when you say they happen every 2 seconds, I definitely believe that.
Well, and I think that's the concern, right? I think that's what this show is partly about is the ROI on cybersecurity and why people are being, you know, reactive and not proactive. And that's why it's past that stage now. People need to be proactive. It's not if, it's when. We've been saying that for a few years now. And the statistics are basically, you know, just a big spotlight saying, guys, you need to get protected. You need to be, you know, proactive and not reactive. I mean, if you look here, you know, small businesses, it's never, ever going to happen to me. I'm just a small business. No one wants us. But if you look, 43% of attacks are targeted to small businesses. I mean, that's catastrophic if a small business gets.
I like this one that you added here. It says, how many cyber attacks per day in 2023?
Yeah.
2,200 cyber attacks.
Yeah.
Per day.
Per day.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I know you were saying, "Oh man, this is exciting." Well, it's
yeah,
not really
it's not
exciting.
not exciting. It's eye opening. It's exciting for us, I guess, being in the space and hopefully helping to educate people. And
Exactly.
this is our
And this is what
business,
this is what keeps food on
our
the
lights
table
on.
for us, right?
Exactly, absolutely. But you
So
know, it's not. You know, we joke and it's not a laughing matter. But at the end of the day, the reality of it, it's scary. And you know what? People really need to open their eyes to this. I mean, you know, you look at the average cost of a corporate breach in 2023 is $5 million. Think of that to a small business. I mean, obviously, they're not going to get $5 million out of a small business if they're attacked, but they, you know, they could theoretically shut them down to the point where you no longer have a company. And that's not a scare tactic. That's just reality. And so again, it's the biggest thing too in this is, you know, do you have a plan in place in the event that or when this happens? And a lot of companies don't. And then it's like scramble. And then you have your employees sitting around, you know, twiddling their thumbs. You have people scared. Do we have a job tomorrow? Do we have, you know, we have clients that and products we're trying to ship out, etc. And it's just a huge concern, and people really need to be aware of it. I think this is really important to understand because, you know, a lot of IT companies and a lot of people, MSPs, a lot of IT services, the IT departments and companies are like, oh, we're protected. We got, you know, great firewall. We got endpoint protection. We got all these different wonderful tools that are very important. There's no question, but 95% of all attacks are human error. So, you know, that is a huge concern if you don't have the confidence or you haven't built the culture of cybersecurity in your business. And so that's another, you know, crazy statistic.
yes, yes. All right. So we're going to tell you what are the most or the 10 top issues, types of cybersecurity attacks right after these commercials.
There you go.
Stay tuned.
Cybersecurity, protect with passion. We assess, implement, and manage cybersecurity for the growing enterprise. For more information, please contact us at rhino.io.
All right.
And we're back. That's kind of a, you know, our new format actually is kind of cool. And just for all you out there watching, and we really appreciate you joining us on our first day back. This is actually condensed too. We used to do an hour, but because it's, you know, it's morning time, people are commuting, just getting in the office, getting your day started. It's only 30 minutes, so it's going to be condensed programming. We're going to have some highlight topics and highlight things that, you know, kind of takeaways from. And I hope you guys really enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. And somebody says in there, Diego says, love your background, Dan. What a cool motorcycle.
I agree, Diego.
Thanks, Diego. There you go. You can see it right here. This is my my shoffice. I call it my shoffice. Okay, so that's shed plus office, shoffice. You know, us that live. If you live in the country, you know what I mean. You probably have an office or a shed outside of your building, and this is kind of like my man cave. You can see I have a server rack on this side, and then I have it's like business over here, party on this side. Right? Like,
yeah, the old mullet scenario.
Oh, well, actually, I do have a mullet, like kind of sporting. But anyways, that's topic.
But you know what, Dan? I love this because that's exactly the world we live in now, right? I mean, at the end of the day, people are working at home all the time, if not every day. You know, at least probably 2 or 3 days a week. And so the fact that you have a shoffice is kind of cool.
Yeah, I was hoping to be somewhere else, right? This morning, but it didn't happen. Then that's okay, right? So I can still connect from the office here. And funny enough, I live in the country, but I get like 1 gigabyte,
Wow.
big gigabits per second on my internet. So I'm pretty steady
well
here. The only thing about living in the country is that sometimes you get outages all the time. You get little outages, and I don't know why. But I do have a UPS. A pretty big UPS that's gonna take me it's gonna last me for an hour, and I do have a generator too, so you know, if the power goes out, then I can just turn on my generator and keep working on cybersecurity, because that's what we do. All right, so top 10 types of cyber attacks. The first one, and I mean, this is kind of like over and over. It's like sometimes it's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah,
it seriously is, because it just happens all the time. Is the phishing attacks. It remains the number one most common and successful method used by hackers to gain unauthorized access to computers and networks.
Exactly. It's 91% actually, Dan, to that large targets. Actually, if you look at the statistics, 91% are phishing attacks. So that is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. And we've been preaching this for the last how many years, Andrew?
Then that's what I got. That's what I kind of said. Like, I mean, we did our other show for over a year, and we've been talking about it ongoing. And it's back to it's not going to happen to me, or it's we're protected, and it's not. It's about being proactive now, realizing that you need to put a budget in place for cybersecurity, and nothing's going to eliminate it 100%. If anybody out there tells you they can stop cyber attacks or cybersecurity, 100%, they're lying to you. I don't care what the organization is. But what you want to do is you want to mitigate risk. So you need to put the proper measures in place to mitigate that risk. That's the reality of it.
And you know what? Phishing attacks. What's the most important thing about phishing attack? What do you have to protect the most?
Your network.
Not really. Oh. Networks nowadays, they're protected up to a certain point. But these hackers, through phishing attacks, they get people to hack for them. I'm serious. Like, when you double click on the download, for example, you are helping the hacker get unauthorized access.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I misunderstood the story. Right.
So that it is the network, but it's the human network.
Human,
right?
Exactly.
The human component is super important in phishing attacks. And I have a meme here that I want to show you. Okay, so it says, I don't always think about cyber. Oh no, this one is not. Here it is. This one. It is. Next time you'll take cybersecurity awareness training seriously, and it's like the girl, like the girl with the fire on the background and stuff like that. So it's
they make light of it and stuff like that, but I think it's so true, right? And I think cybersecurity awareness training is certainly not about building fear. It's about building a culture of confidence and a culture of knowledge, which is going to enhance or eliminate the mounting phishing attacks that are potential. That's going to stop the phishing attack, but it's going to be able to not being clicking on things you shouldn't be clicking on and opening things you're not supposed to be opening.
Exactly. The second one would be weak passwords. Still with two-factor authentication, with tokens, with all kinds of single sign-ons and all the stuff that comes to multi-factor authentication, OTPs, whatever you want. Important. There's still the second, guessable passwords are prevalent vulnerabilities targeted by hackers. So if you think about it, phishing attacks and then weak passwords. Again, they're attacking. That's kind of like half technical, half human, right? Like, as a human, you have to be trained to put to have the strong passwords, but in the technical side of things, you got to make sure that you have dual-factor authentication. And if you're not able, let's say it's a service account, email account, for example, that you using, and you can't have multi-factor authentication because it's a service account, you have to have some sort of conditional access. What do I mean by conditional access? Well, you have to get licenses in Microsoft, like, E3, E5 licenses, and then you go into your Microsoft 365 panel, for example, and then you can whitelist the IP addresses or the locations where those service accounts can connect to. And then you're blocking a lot of the stuff from out there, right? So those are pretty good tips in here.
Dan, in regards to that, I mean, okay, you know what? We always say that it's up to the IT, and then the IT is like, well, it should be the human resources because it's people and all that kind of stuff. Like, what is the right approach? I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it's just like anybody in an organization who feels like they're at risk should be bringing it up to their the people who are in charge, or speaking to your IT team or speaking to your HR, because if you have a lack of confidence, or let's say you don't have dual-factor authentication, or you don't have proper training, I mean, it's up to, I think, the employees nowadays to realize that, we should be asking for it.
Yes.
Would you agree with it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it starts from the top. Okay.
For sure.
What I see is that it's a top-down approach. You can't have people can come to management, right? To employees, to managers and directors, and complain all they want, right? And those people are doing a good for the company.
That's where I'm coming from. Exactly.
But if the leadership in the company does not take things seriously, it's just it won't happen. IT professionals, managers, as good as they are, if they don't have the budget to be able to buy the tools, and if HR does not promote cybersecurity as part of their curriculum for learning, it's never happened, and we see it very often where uh like the company just needs compliance, that yeah, just let's sign up for cybersecurity awareness training. I don't care, we don't care how many people take it or whatever, let's just do it so we can put the like the check mark on the
Right.
on the thing, on the paper, right? So it is a top down approach.
And I think you're right, but in regards to, I think, and again, I just want to be, I want to put this out there because we always talk about corporations and businesses because that's what we do. We're in business to help protect businesses. But as an individual out there, if the company isn't doing it, we live in a cyber world and we live in technology. You as an individual can go out there and be proactive and learn. I mean, we offer courses at Rhino. There's other courses out there that you can learn on your own through courses like Udemy and places like that, where you as an individual should be proactive and building a knowledge base for yourself. Because even if your company's not doing it, shame on them. But you as an individual should be learning as you go.
Absolutely, 100%. 100% on your own, you can take up courses and stuff. I'm all up for that. All I'm saying is that if nobody's paying for my courses, why would I take a course? That's kind of like the mentality, right?
Yeah, it's what just sad, unfortunately.
For
Yeah, you're right.
example, in a company, I had to take women's training. So did you, right? Like we all had to take, as part of our HR, we had to take cybersecurity training, but also women's training. If you don't give me the women's training, and I know I have to be safe on the workplace, I won't take a women's course at all because they're boring. Right? So I mean, we're not in the most exciting. I mean, it is exciting for us, but a lot of people, they're like, yeah, well, just computers, whatever, right? So it is. I think it's both ways. As an individual, you have to take things seriously because you can lose a lot of money, right? Like for example, your credit cards, your your car, whatever it is.
Your reputation, everything, lots of
reputation, all of that.
Sure.
All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is super important. It is unpatched software. So number 3 is unpatched software. Exploiting known vulnerabilities in outdated software is another freaking method used by hackers. Okay, and I'm gonna show you here kind of like the latest news because it's been everywhere. Let me see. There you go. So I'm just sharing with you kind of from our newsroom, Rhino Cybersecurity newsroom, so you are current.
Yeah, that's, you can download this actually if you go to rhino.io and you can join. You can get this this newsletter every Friday.
Yeah, we have a newsletter every Friday, so if you want to join, and also we have our Purple Talk in LinkedIn. We have a lot of subscribers to our newsletter. Maybe you want to sign up. VMware release. So we're talking about VMware releases critical patch for remote code execution. Right, so there's a lot of zero-day attacks, but then they get patched, and it doesn't go probably a week, 2 weeks without being patched. Okay, you have these things in the air, outside, in the wild, attacking people and stuff like that. You can't do anything about it because there's no patches available. But as soon as they're available, you should definitely make sure that your systems are fully patched, because these are some of the they're pretty bad. Like for example, this VMware, we had a prospect that came to us, and 150 virtual machines in their data center were ransomware.
Yeah,
the company stopped working and they couldn't do anything, and it was a really bad ransom. It wasn't I'm not gonna tell you which one it is, but it was a bad ransom, and it was just brutal. These guys were so like devastated, right? And then we have things, for example, where is it? October 25th here, Cisco equipment, guys. This one is kind of like, wow. There's a few CVEs that are going around 10, right, in terms of the severity, and 10 out of 10. And this one is Cisco's Discovery, a second zero-day vulnerability despite the decline in hacker devices, right? So whoever has Cisco equipment, right, you have to make sure that they're patched. And we send these to all of our clients, right, as part of our newsletter, which I think is really good in terms of threat intelligence, knowing what is vulnerable in your company, right? So that's another one. And then there was the where is it? Patching Microsoft, right? This one, for example, this one is for October.
Yeah.
October 2023, Microsoft releases patches for 103 flaws in October, including 2 active exploits. So this is what we're talking about. We're getting now really technical, right? Like it's not the human component; it is the actual technical part of IT. You got to make sure that your systems, your operating systems, and your equipment, your firmware is fully patched.
Yeah.
And that's where I have another meme. And here it is. I don't always think about cybersecurity, but when I do, it's usually too late.
So true.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Okay. So, next, what do we have, Andrew? More commercials. All right. Let's go to another.
We can go to another commercial. All right.
Really short. I love this. Our sponsor is the best sponsor you can have in the world as a radio or podcast show. Let's go to the next.
Work as an extension of your team. 24/7 managed detection and response. For more information, please contact us at rhino.io.
All right, and we're back.
Welcome back. That was short and sweet. I like it.
No, I couldn't even. I wasn't gonna have a coffee and then maybe go for a smoke. I don't know, but it happened, right? Like there were like 10-second commercials. It's cool. It's okay.
It's good. It's all good. Exactly. You know what? For a 30-minute podcast, we have to make them short and sweet.
Exactly, and we don't have much time. All right, let's go back to the let's talk about the human component, right?
Yeah.
Of the attacks, and I'm going to show my screen here. This is where you were adding.
I mean, these are some big things for not only for the company but for the people, like your team members, right? I mean, we talk about the impact that cybersecurity and ransom attacks and things happen to the individual of the company. And one big thing, like when you build over the years, trust with your clients, trust with your partners. And all of a sudden, now you've been hacked. You have held ransom. You've lost some critical data. The customer trust is potentially lost, and it'll take you a long time to regain that trust. Yes. And so that's something to really be considered and something to really be thinking about.
Sorry to butt in.
No, go ahead.
You know what's funny? You know what companies are doing nowadays in terms of customer trust, loss of customers' trust?
Yeah.
So, I'm taking my master's degree in cybersecurity, and we have an enterprise cybersecurity class, and we're discussing kind of like what's going on in the world of cybersecurity and big companies. I'm talking about large companies. Sure. What they're doing is they're measuring, and this is so crazy. They're measuring how much data exposure, how much media exposure they get on hacks.
Right.
So some companies noticed that when they get hacked, there's a data leakage or whatever, they get more media exposure, therefore they get more clients after a hack.
Isn't that, and that's such an odd thing statistically. If you actually go to number 2, it talks about negative media coverage. And I guess the way they're putting a spin on this is any media coverage is positive coverage because
there's no such a thing as bad news, right? Like
that's what they're saying. I don't personally agree with it. My opinion, if you ask me, I don't want, if I have very large organizations and companies and I house their information and I partner with them and I share all that critical information with a hacker because I wasn't protected or I wasn't safe or I wasn't secure or proactive. And again, back to what I said, you can never guarantee that, but to mitigate it.
Morally wrong.
Exactly. And
I know that but it's financially right. That's the problem.
So that's the big corporations putting a spin on it. I don't know. I don't agree with it.
But that's the world that we live in, right?
I know.
People are greedy and big companies are greedy, and we all know that big corporations are greedy, right?
But you know why I think they're doing that? Go ahead. I'm going to add to it with number.
Oh no, man! No, just bring it on, man. You want to?
I was going to say, well, the reason they're saying that is because if you look at number 3, Impact on stock prices, financial loss. So financial loss, you're going to look at the small to mid-sized companies, and there's no question. But if you're a big organization and you've been hacked and you get negative news, it could affect your stock prices. And if it does, so now they're going, wait a second, let's be proactive and say it's positive. So then they're not going to turn around and lose stock. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. That's me. But
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is that stock might go up, not down. Right?
I know. That's what they're hoping.
Because okay, let's give let's put an example, right? LastPass, they got hacked a few months ago, right? LastPass got hacked, and there was no data leakage from customer data, and it was kind of like it was all over the news. Everybody knew about it, right? They lost a lot of people. They lost a lot of customers. Let's say they lost 10% of their customers, but they gained 20% of their customers. And these are just, numbers that I'm making up, right? Like this is not real numbers. But what I'm saying is like they lost a lot of customers, but they promised the world saying, yeah, we're investigating, we're doing this, we're proactive, we're all doing all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, they gain more clients and more customers, and therefore they make more money.
See, and this is where I think it's very confusing. It's, you know what, and this is where unfortunately cybersecurity and everything else gets not a bad rap, but people aren't thinking about it because they put twists on it, right? If you look at the we have posted here, 5 ways cyber attacks can damage a company's reputation. So now they're turning and putting a spin on it. You're actually completely, what you're saying is contradictory to what the world of cyber attacks are saying right there, and that to me is a concern, because then the people will say, well, wait a second, if we're not proactive and we do get hacked, yeah, it may cost us X number of dollars, but all the publicity is maybe good for us. Well, that's just crap, if you ask me. You don't want to build on a negative structure. You want to build on a positive. So, loss of business opportunity, current and future. What you're saying, there's potentially more opportunities. So that's what's frustrating about the world out there and the media and everything being jammed at you, because no matter where you turn, the information you're searching for, you can find positive or negative.
And this is something that we see, as I told you, it's not me. We're seeing it in our enterprise cybersecurity class that I'm doing in my master's degree, and people are just scratching their heads just like you are, right?
Yeah,
because it all comes down to dollars and cents. At the end of the day, morality is gone sideways, as you probably know. And I have another meme here.
Okay,
right? We're talking about data breaches. It says, I declare data breach. So for all of you fans of Michael Scott and The Office, this is funny. Okay, maybe not. But
I know we're coming to an end, fairly soon, because it's only a 30-minute podcast, but. We talk about the impact, and that's the corporations putting a spin on it.
We don't have to go through the 10. I just
I don't think
number 10. I think these are the 3 most important ones, and let me just repeat them. The first one is obviously it's going to be phishing attacks. The second one is weak passwords, and the third one is unpatched software. And you know what? I said 10, but we can't go through all 10 of them because we only have 30 minutes now. I forgot. I totally forgot about our 30 minutes instead of 1 hour. So
that's okay. I just remember too, guys, when you're hacked, you ought to think of your employees, right, as well. Your employees lose confidence in the organization they're working for. And that's a big impact, because people don't want to work for a company that has a bad reputation or has been hacked, or potential loss of data, or maybe they feel insecure or unconfident with the future of the company because they're not doing all the right things. So that affects your company. That what you're saying, it puts a spin on the positive for potential more business, etc. But the human component, the employees that kind of hold you together, if they don't have the confidence as a company, are they going to want to stay with you? I don't think so. That's my opinion as well, but it's also one of the statistics.
Maybe that's you, man. But I stay with LastPass because I thought that the hack wasn't that bad. They didn't lose customer data, so
for sure, it just builds. All it does is builds a lack of confidence.
All right. So we're at the end of the show, 9 o'clock. Guys, visit rhino.io, sign up for our newsletter, download the material, like all of our downloads. We have some really good books and guides. Go to LinkedIn, look for Purple Talk, and connect with us. We love to hear from you. Send us your questions and we'll address them next time. This is our first show, so bear with us. We're getting through it, and next week we'll have a great show for you. 8:30 in the morning Fridays. We'll review the news. We'll do some memes and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
I hope you have a fantastic,
A
I hope
fantastic-
you have a fantastic weekend.
And if,
See you next time.
and if you guys feel like reaching out to rhino.io at any time, don't hesitate. And there's lots of valuable information on our website. So rhino.io, go ahead. You can actually download our defined blueprint of cybersecurity for manufacturing. It's a free 62-page magazine that we've developed. And there's also, risk assessments, self-assessments for your organization, etc. So please feel free to visit. And if you want to reach out to one of us, we're always happy to meet with people.
That's right.
Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Welcome back, Dan. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
See you next time.